Welcome back everyone. Our final match of week 6 brings us something special, a rain mirror match between Digiko and Shirahiko. Both trainers use weather, but I think the approach couldn't be more different. Digiko's version of Rain is built around offensive pressure and speed, with Pelipper setting the stage for random users like Kingdra or Basculegion, backed by switch-ins such as Gastrodon and Amoonguss to keep her own momentum going. Shirahiko's take on Rain meanwhile plays a bit slower. She uses her weather mainly for support rather than all-out offense, focusing on defensive stability. That means this match won't be about who has Rain up, it will be around who uses it better. Both teams have answers for each other, and with them both using Rain, this battle comes down to reads and maybe a touch of luck. Let's jump straight into battle. Digiko vs Shirahiko, the final match of week 6. Digiko leads with Gastrodon, which is a very safe lead for her. Shirahiko leads with Politoed to get Rain up as soon as possible. Weather Ball doesn't do anything because Gastrodon has the ability Storm Drain, which absorbs water attacks and gives Gastrodon a 1.5 special attack boost. And with that, Digiko right off the bat has a huge advantage over Shirahiko, because there's not much she can safely switch into now. Digiko sets up Stealth Rocks and she's very free. We see a crit on the Ice Beam, but Shirahiko stays in. Doesn't do much more than the Ice Beam from Politoed here. I don't think that Shirahiko will stay in. She does stay in, but Digiko probably has Recover. She clicks Stealth Rocks for whatever reason, maybe a misclick. We see another Ice Beam, no freeze, which is good. Earth Power does 30%. Do we see a Recover on the Gastrodon here? We do see Recover, so Gastrodon is back at 95%. That's not looking good for Shirahiko. She switches out into Fortress, which takes a huge amount of damage from the boosted Earth Power. Is slower than Gastrodon probably, so she doesn't want to stay in. She switches into another Pokemon that is weak to ground, but also weak to ice. Clodsire probably is unaware, so the special attack boost doesn't matter that much. Shirahiko realizes that the only way to deal with Gastrodon is to poison it and put it on a timer and then recover. Ice Beam still has a chance to freeze. We see Recover from Clodsire, and as I said, this is pretty much the only way for her to deal with this Gastrodon. Digiko knows this, probably switches out into Amoonguss, and Shirahiko uses this to set up her own Stealth Rocks. So we have Stealth Rocks on both sides now. Both are flying type Pokemon, so rocks hurt a lot. We see Stomping Tantrum from Amoonguss into the Zapdos, doing nothing because it's immune. Pelipper comes out, so Digiko sets up her Rain and gives Shirahiko a perfectly accurate Hurricane with that, which does a lot of damage. Gastrodon comes out, tanks the Volt Switch. Gastrodon being immune to Volt Switch hinders Zapdos to switch, so that Shirahiko has to hard switch into Clodsire here. Clodsire catches the Ice Beam, still very healthy and should be able to do some damage in the next round. Earthquake doing 29% is solid with the added toxic damage, and in the long run Shirahiko will win this matchup of Clodsire and Gastrodon. Zapdos is Shirahiko's answer for Amoonguss, but it has to switch into rocks every single time. And we see that it switched into rocks the second time and is already at 50%. Gastrodon doesn't take as much damage from rocks. Shirahiko roosts though, which is very good for her. Because she is on a time as well. Hurricane hits outside of the rain, that's very strong. We see another Hurricane because it's pretty much the only thing Zapdos can do here. We see another Hurricane and the confusion. That's very unfortunate for Digiko. She recovers through the confusion though. And Zapdos for Gastrodon would be an amazing trade-off actually. Both Pokemon get their toxic damage. Hurricane hits again outside and we see another confusion. Ice Beam does 39% to Zapdos and the toxic is enough to kill Zapdos. Toxic on Gastrodon does 31% now, so even with recover, this is not something that Digiko wants to stay in. With Politoed setting up the rain again, Digiko goes out into Kingdra and brings the aforementioned offensive pressure. She tears into her water type. Click Surf does 40% with it. We see the Life Orb on Kingdra. Weather Ball doesn't do as much damage. And the next move kills the Politoed. So that's Shirahiko's Weather Setter down. She has to rely on Digiko to set up rain now. Basculegion comes out is at max speed, slower than Kingdra, but Basculegion has Aqua Jet. Digiko predicts the Aqua Jet probably. Yeah, we see Gastrodon coming in to catch the Aqua Jet. Digiko sacks Gastrodon to get a safe switch into Amoonguss. And there's not much Basculegion can do against Amoonguss. Clodsire comes in against the Amoonguss, catches the Giga Drain, which doesn't do much since both are very defensive Pokemon. Shirahiko should go into Fortress here to get rid of the rocks. Stomping Tantrum was 28% and over time it would probably do enough to kill the Clodsire. And it's not very safe for Shirahiko to switch in Stomping Tantrum here. We see a crit. Earthquake doesn't do nearly enough. The rain stopped. And in the long run, I don't think Shirahiko has a chance to win this matchup here. She's unable to poison Amoonguss since it's a poison type itself. And if it has Recover, it doesn't even need Recover, it has Giga Drain and Regenerator. So it's not nearly... Clodsire doesn't do nearly enough damage to kill Amoonguss in this matchup. This is very slow. Earthquake doing only 19% and the Clodsire is back at full again. Digiko switches into Pelipper. She predicts the Earthquake, Pelipper being immune to it, forces Clodsire out because it's probably unaware. Weather Ball kills Fortress, and with that I think this is a sealed match. Basculegion comes out. However, Digiko sacrifices Pelipper, but she gets a free switch into Amoonguss now. She switches into Iron Hands. Shirahiko fears the Iron Hands, switches into Clodsire, predicting the Thunder Punch. That's very good. Close combat is resisted, so it doesn't do much, and an Earthquake could do heavy damage against the Iron Hands here. This might turn out to be in Shirahiko's favor after all. Oh. Okay, we see the Ice Punch crit. I'm not sure if Ice Punch would have killed without the crit, because I don't think so. I'm not sure about that, but that was very unfortunate. I think this this sealed the match. Aqua Jet doesn't do enough damage if Shirahiko... Okay, so Basket Legion is faster here, and if Shirahiko would have used Wave Crash, Iron Hand would have probably died. Thunder Punch obviously killing Basket Legion, and the only Pokemon that Shirahiko has left is Greninja. Greninja comes in, gets damage for 12% by Stealth Rocks. Surf is enough to kill Iron Hands, but there's no way for Greninja to get rid of Amoonguss with Surf. Toxic on Greninja, puts it on the timer, however Giga Drain should probably be enough. Digiko sacrifices Kingdra to maybe get another Regenerator boost for Amoonguss. Yeah, she switches back into the Regenerator healed Amoonguss to get more Toxic stack up. We see Giga Drain killing Greninja, and with that, Digiko won this very close match. That wraps up a long and drawn out match between Digiko and Shirahiko. Digiko's team was really well positioned for this matchup. Gastrodon completely neutralized most of Shirahiko's water offense, turning her usual rain pressure into 3 Storm Rain boosts. Between Gastrodon, Amoonguss and Iron Hands, Digiko had an incredibly sturdy core that soaked up damage and slowly wore Shirahiko's team down. However, Shirahiko played this match really well. She kept up the pressure, she found good switches and pushed for damage whenever she could. In my opinion, it honestly came down to just a single turn here. If she had clicked anything other than Aqua Jet into the Iron Hands, the game might have gone in her favor. Still, Digiko's patience paid off. She played very well to her win conditions and closed things out very patiently. A great match from both sides, I gotta say. A strong finish to week 6 and a match that really highlights how small decisions can decide entire games. With that, week 6 officially comes to a close, and we're off to week 7, which is the last week before the redraft. Stay tuned for week 7, I'll see you in the next one.